Welcome back. Now, in the midst of all the allegations coming in from U.S. allies that their phones have been tapped, I had a chat with Lagos lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Olisa Agbakoba, about what it would be like if Nigeria was spied upon. Note that this was before Edward Snowden's revelation on Nigeria. Mr. Agbakoba, thank you so much for joining us in this interview. Well, the revelations in the past few days have shown the United States in a new light. I mean, at least in a different light, right, put it that way, that they're spying on their allies. What does this say about the U.S. in relation with these countries?
In the modern context of geopolitics, there is heavy spying, and there are different fields. Even in the old days, Sun Tzu, the great Chinese war strategist, once wrote, "You can't defeat your enemy unless you know its strengths." So intelligence is about information. Prior information helps you to plan. So countries discovered that prior information would help them to assess possibilities. So spying was so important during the First and Second World Wars. Actually, Germany lost the war because the Allied forces cracked their encrypted code. They had a big machine called Enigma, and cracked it, and they could tell where Germans were sending their troops. So at the end of the Cold War, the next big spying was about the arms race. And you had all the countries spying with each other. In fact, it got so bad to the point where the head of MI5, as the highest body, intelligence body in the UK, was a Russian spy. So there were all kinds of interrelated spines. And of course, WikiLeaks has told us everything. So this spying thing isn't new, but it's a problem for third world countries who have absolutely no idea. If American CIA could spy on the German Chancellor, imagine what goes on here. It will tell you that Jonathan's phones are tapped. Now, the most important spy ever to work in Nigeria was the CIA station chief called Philip Agee. His own spying had two dimensions, which all goes back to what you're saying. Because the field of spying has a number of specialties. There's a field called HUMINT, that's human intelligence, COMINT, communications intelligence, SATINT, satellite intelligence, PHOTINT, photo intelligence, and so on. Ours is so basic that they don't even require anything because they use open intelligence. And WikiLeaks revealed that our big men, their mouths leak like sieves. So reason why Angela Merkel was being spied is so that they will know what she's thinking. The G20 summit held in the UK revealed that the Americans had enveloped the place with spying equipment. So they couldn't crack Putin because Putin knew. So Putin had his own anti-devices. So they all know this, but occasionally it will leak and become a big story. The Chinese are master trade spies. They spied and caught up with the US, stole all their communications information, dismantled things. So each country has its own particular reason for spying and to what end.
Well, you also mentioned, of course, Nigeria and, the possibility of them spying on us and our governments and everything else that we're doing. But if they're spying, what would they be looking for?
General information. As I told you, the original purpose of spying is national security. So Obama underlined that they would not spy on any country except as it relates to national security, but that's not true. Spying goes on. So Nigeria being such an important emerging country with all its natural resources, how do you think the Americans are always able to predict more than we can all that goes on in northern Nigeria? At the time the Nigerian government was not telling us the truth about Bama, the Americans, using Human Rights Watch, were able to tell us exactly what was happening because they have their footprints. The Americans operate out of the Indian Ocean island of Diego Garcia. The KH-111, which is the fastest plane in the world, is stealth, it's black, you can't see it, can overfly the entire Africa in 1 minute with look-down cameras, soaking up information. So when they know what Jonathan is doing, it gives them the satisfaction that when Jonathan is speaking, they can judge, they know what he's going to say. They determine our hydrocarbon capabilities. They know exactly how strong we are. So that's why they spy on us.
Well, I think that explains what NSA Chief General Keith Alexander was saying. He was defending the agency's intelligence activities, saying that it has saved lives not only in Europe, but around the world. Does that sound like a good defense?
That's a lie. How? The American spying activity destroyed Iran, because it was the Americans who spied on Iran, overthrew the Prime Minister, installed Mossadegh in 1951, who then was overthrown, and they installed the Shah of Iran, who himself was also overthrown. It was the Americans who went into Latin America under the Monroe Doctrine, that America for the Americas, and absolutely destroyed lives and property. So I'm not sure that spying by the Americans can have been said to save lives. Where? They're droning all over Afghanistan. The drone is the world's most efficient communications aircraft because it is not manned. There's also AWACS, which they used in the Middle East. So I'm not sure exactly what the NSA chief means when he says that it has saved lives.
So how dangerous could it be? How dangerous could spying activities be?
Oh, it's dangerous because they know they know everything about us. They know that's the whole point of WikiLeaks. That's the whole point, that he says it is hypocritical for the nation that aspires to democracy, liberty, and freedoms to be the ones doing the exact opposite. That's the whole point of Ed Snowden. That's exactly the message. What those two gentlemen are saying contradicts what America does underneath. I went to IBA conference, International Bar Association, years ago, and the address came from a very prominent journalist who told us that we don't know 2% of what the American government is doing, because it is a very, very dangerous place. Every morning at 7 a.m., the first report the president gets is called the National Intelligence Estimates. So from the Situation Room in the White House, he's able to read, if he wants to, the license plate of the president of Nigeria. Philip Aggi, that I was talking about, used the Eko Bridge to test a new gadget. It was called the Sonar Boom. It was boomed on Northern Barracks. Now, the vibration converts the sound to voice, and it was taping what was going on. That's exceedingly dangerous. So when I think what this does is helps the case of Ed Snowden. What this does, it validates WikiLeaks, that we're living in a highly dangerous world where the Western world pretend they're democrats, yet they are reading our mail, spying on us, and having the upper hand.
For these countries, it seems like a betrayal and a trust issue with the United States.
Absolument, as the French will say. Absolutely. It does. How can you trust? You think Angela Merkel is happy? Did you see what she said on CNN? She's not happy. How can you be spying on me, a partner? Then when David Cameron was also caught, he said, oh really? Nobody is safe. So among themselves, they are afraid of each other. I cannot have a conversation with a senior American officer, if it was a German officer, without being afraid. Generally, what will happen? When they arrive, how